And welcome to our 14th word game. And we are also delighted to have our very special guest, Kim, who's joining
Hi,
the word game.
thanks so much for having me. I'm sure this will be fun.
We have
Always, every time. We had a debate. We drew verbal straws to see who was going first. I think I lost. So, in word game fashion, the list I have been given by Rich is based around games. There are a few moments in there where I'm thinking, oh man, where am I going to go with this, Rich? I'll be very honest. My list is red light, green light, hide and seek, kick the can, musical chairs. Simon Says, I did own that as a child. Bop It, my friend did, and I was very envious. Monopoly, hated it. Twister, Scrabble, nah, not for me. Uno, catchphrase, Risk, Snakes and Ladders, Hopscotch, This Side Up.
Mhm. Ali
Well-
has given me a list all around gardens. So that is Chore or Charm, Fresh Cut Grass, Formal or Wild, Zen-like Weeds, Potter and Plan, Dig and Turn, Enrich, Sow, Transplant, Scent, Seed Bomb, Flutterby Butterfly, Seasons and Bloom.
That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Flutterby Butterfly.
Very
I mean,
poetic.
Eat that a few times. So,
And I
Kim,
have,
we
yes,
made one for you, didn't we? What words do you have?
you did. You made one for me. You made one for me from two of my favourite storytellers, which is Sir Terry Pratchett and Jane Austen. And my list: Moving Pictures, Thief of Time, Pride and Prejudice, Thud, Interesting Times, Never Trust a Dog with Orange Eyebrows, Equal Rights, Soul Music, Good Omens, The Night Watch, Carrot, Persuasion, The Truth May Be Out There, but the Lies Are Inside Your Head, Sense and Sensibility, and People Think That Stories Are Shaped by People. In fact, it's the other way around.
So that means that technically you do have an awful lot more than 15 words. But we thought you'd quite like some of those.
Like those words, yeah. Who knows what I'll do with them, but still.
We don't even know what to do with our own lists, Kim. So
No, it is entirely random and who knows where it's going to end up. Yeah, I go first. Here goes. On the theme of games, red light, green light's a bit like the principles of Kanban, really, isn't it? The stop, go. Which is actually very reminiscent of hide and seek. Because where you start off, where your initial point of hiding is, isn't always where you end up. It's like that almost moment in Marco Polo where you want to dodge being found. So it's that stop go. It's like, I'll stop here for a while, then I'll move and go somewhere else. In essence, it's a bit like kicking the can about of suggestions and options, really. Like hidden musical chairs. I'll stop here for a while and then I'll wait for that lull in the music. So it's in reverse. You're waiting for the silence to move. It's that repetition of action, looking for the difference and what's different. Just as you do when you play Simon Says. Hoping that somebody's not going to bop it or bop you by accident or intentionally. It's that tag moment. But at the same point, you don't want to have a monopoly game. Because where's the fun in that? The whole point of Twister, after all, is that involvement, is the mutuality, the fact that each player interacts with the other to create the game and the fun and the moment. There's a Scrabble for that free space on the board. And just as Scrabble, sometimes you have those moments where you have a debate over, is Uno an acceptable word or not? Do you? So I'm laughing because I'm like, thank goodness I found a way to fit that in. Because you don't want to forfeit your turn. You don't want to forfeit the points. So you want to be able to persuade the other player that that word is for real. What's that TV program, that say what you see, that catchphrase? There's a risk in that sometimes, though. We're not always honest when that happens. And that means there's that snakes and ladders effect sometimes in our lives, where we're not sure whether saying what we see will lead us to a ladder to carry us up or lead us to a snake to carry us down. So we might play a bit of verbal hopscotch round about the things we actually want to say, the experiences, maybe sometimes even the thoughts that we hold in our head. We don't always pay attention to the signs that say this side up.
Good job, Ali.
That was amazing.
That was tough.
Did you manage to get Uno in?
Yeah.
I was looking at that going, it's getting closer. How on earth am I going to fit that in? Your turn, Rich.
It is. And I don't know how many people out there do some gardening, and it can always be seen as a complete chore. Pulling up weeds, bedding in plants, sowing seeds, watering the plants, killing pests and bugs off, and all that other sort of stuff. But once you've done that, the garden can always turn out into a charm. And as you mow the lawn, you have that delightful smell of the fresh cut grass, which is actually signals of pain from the grass to know that it's under attack. It's sending out chemical smells to alert other plants there's danger right somewhere. And your gardens can be formal or wild. And I expect sometimes you can be Zen-like in the weeds, taking your time to be still, not rushing, not moving, just being. And as you potter around, you might even decide to plan. And with that plan, you can dig and turn and sow the things that you would like to. Because as you dig and turn, you can enrich that soil by adding all sorts of stuff, from fish and blood and bones and guts and manure. That helps the plants that you have sowed. And later on, as those plants have grown, you might be able to transplant them, propagating them to somewhere else, and maybe even give them to your friends. And as you wander around your garden now, you can breathe in the scent from the roses, lilacs if you like them. They're horrible, bloody things. And there's been quite a new thing out for the past good few years now. They're throwing around seed bombs of wildflowers, attracting all sorts of wildlife, from butterflies and bees as they flutter by like a butterfly. And as you go digging around in your garden, pruning, trimming, strimming, cutting, weeding, and whatever else it is you're up to, you notice those seasons go by as the flowers are in bloom and veg and fruit come into being, and then the leaves falling off the trees. And then the soggy earth from the downpour of rain during the winter, because we get no snow much these years. Then it comes into spring, and then everything starts to bloom again.
Nicely done.
That's very beautiful.
Thanks.
Went from mud to dreaming, which is quite beautiful.
And did you notice that there's a distinct lack of desperation in Rich's delivery compared to mine as I got closer and closer to those words you'd given me?
You have very interesting and dynamic voices.
Thank you.
She says, buying another time.
That's all right.
So, Kim.
Yes.
See what I can do.
Are you ready to give it a go?
I am. I've written my words down, so they're in my head. Storytelling. The moving pictures in my mind are drawn by a thief of time. As I daydream about the stories I love, my pride and prejudice rejects others with a thud. In these interesting times, very early on, I learnt never to trust a dog with orange eyebrows, but to give them equal rights. You can be fair whilst listening to your own soul's music, picking at the good omens as you sit under moon on the night watch, seeing in the dark thanks to all the carrots. The optimistic thinking of stars can be very persuasive, and we can realize the truth may be out there, but the lies are inside my head. Facts and feelings war over my sense and sensibilities, because it is a truth universally acknowledged that though people think that stories are shaped by people, in fact, it is the other way around.
That's awesome.
Nicely done.
Yeah, very cool.
You can probably tell I write more poetry than stories, because it's like, how short can we make it? How quickly can we connect things?
You should probably give me lessons in that, Kim.
It would amuse people, though, given how much I like talking, that sometimes I like writing in a succinct way.
You can come back and play a word game with us anytime.
I do like the word games. It's nice to have a few minutes just to think about language and fun. It's jolly fun. I did have another Jane Austen quote in there, obviously.
Just not enough.
It's like I have to add my own at one point. That only seemed fair. I didn't get to mention any mud though, but I did also mention the stars.
You did.
There were so many quotes and so many phrases that could have put in there. It was a challenge just narrowing it down to what we gave you.
They both have impressive bodies of work.
They do.
Yeah, I guess they've written one or two things.
So to anybody who wants to add anything in terms of sending in a word list, please do.
Yeah.
And hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll see you soon.
And please do like, comment, and share.
Fantastic.